The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession. Welcome to StarScope Report.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to, social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today is a big one.
It really is. For the first time in nearly 7 years, Hollywood's most elusive couple stepped back into the public eye.
Yep, Oprah Winfrey and Stedman Graham.
Exactly. So today, we're taking a whole stack of recent reporting. We've got articles from Parade, The Root, Shea Fines, and Blex Media, and we're trying to answer a single really fascinating question. Welcome to the deep dive.
We are looking closely at this incredibly rare appearance they made together in Chicago.
Right. But our mission today goes way beyond just, a simple celebrity sighting. We're trying to decode the secret to a 40-year partnership that has somehow survived the absolute harshest, most relentless media glare in history.
Which is no small feat.
Not at all.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack how defying traditional expectations, whether that's in love, in physical health, or even in business, has essentially become Oprah's ultimate superpower.
And, more importantly, what you, the listener, can learn from her absolute mastery of setting boundaries.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this.
We really have to start with the visual that triggered this whole news cycle to understand the gravity of it.
Yeah, paint the picture for us.
So they were at Navy Pier in Chicago, right? At Chef Art Smith's restaurant, which is called Reunion.
Which is very fitting. It was a 15-year reunion for the end of the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Exactly. And it also perfectly coincides with the 40th anniversary of its national debut way back in 1986.
Oh, wow, 40 years.
Yeah. And the sources paint this really vivid picture of the event. Oprah is in this very crisp, cream pinstripe blazer and pants.
Very classic Oprah.
Totally. And Stedman is in a sharp black suit, white shirt. And they're just happily posing for photos. Oh, and Stedman is holding this massive platter of fried chicken.
I love that detail. It's just such a joyful, relaxed scene.
The relaxed nature of that image is really striking, though, when you consider the whole timeline. 1986 wasn't just the year her daytime show went national.
Right.
It was also the year she met Stedman.
At a Chicago charity event.
Exactly.
But the funny thing is, she initially thought he was a player.
Oh, she totally did.
She actually noted that he was tall, he was, in her words, too handsome.
Too handsome, yeah.
And she had seen him around town with a previous girlfriend, so she kind of kept her guard up. She didn't pay him much attention initially.
Well, she was on the precipice of global fame, She was inherently cautious. Protecting her inner circle was already becoming a major priority as her profile was rising.
Makes complete sense. But then she finds out he's single at a mutual friend's house.
Right.
And they just happen to be leaving at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And she actually makes the first move.
Did she really?
Yeah. She asks him if he wants to go get a drink, which is highly ironic, considering the sources note that he reportedly didn't drink back then and still doesn't to this day.
And he still went.
He still went.
I think that speaks to the immediate intrigue between them, right? Like this willingness to cross over into each other's worlds.
It totally reminds me of two CEOs feeling out a massive corporate merger.
That's a good way to look at it.
Right. You're sitting across from each other, you're extremely cautious, you're calculating the risks, but you are just undeniably intrigued by the sheer potential of what this other person brings to the table.
Yeah, you're looking at their portfolio.
Exactly. You're looking at their portfolio and thinking, okay, this could actually work. And if you are loving these Hollywood twists so far, make sure you're subscribed because we've got even crazier stories ahead.
What's fascinating here is that Stedman had an incredibly strong portfolio of his own.
Right. He wasn't just some guy.
No, not at all. He wasn't just looking to ride the coattails of a rising star. He was a very dedicated educator.
Wait, so he already had his own career going before they even met?
Oh, he had an entire empire brewing. He founded Athletes Against Drugs, which is a nonprofit that has awarded over $1.5 million in scholarships. Wow. And he was the CEO of S. Graham and Associates.
Which is what?
It's a prominent management and marketing consulting firm.
Okay, so he brought his own considerable weight to the relationship from day one.
Absolutely. And later on, he even became an Indiana Broadcasting Hall of Fame inductee and a New York Times bestselling author with his 1997 self-help book.
That is quite a resume.
Right. His established, deeply rooted identity is the mechanism that allowed him to stand next to someone who was rapidly becoming a global icon without being overshadowed or, emasculated by her success.
He knew who he was before the world knew who Oprah was.
Exactly.
But when you have two fiercely independent, fully realized people like that, it creates a unique problem.
What do you mean?
Well, how do you merge those two massive lives into a traditional marriage without someone having to compromise their ambition?
Yeah. It is the ultimate crossroad of their narrative. And the thing is, they almost gave in to that traditional expectation.
Let's talk about that. Let's look at the 1992 engagement. Stedman proposes to her at her home in Indiana.
Right.
She says yes. And it becomes this massive media event.
Yeah.
I mean, they get a huge People magazine cover story. The whole world is waiting for what's basically the royal wedding of daytime television.
And then in 1993, the wedding is just quietly called off.
Not the relationship, just the wedding.
Just the wedding. And for decades, people speculated about the reasons.
Naturally.
But Oprah laid it all out with absolute clarity in a 2020 letter in O magazine.
What did she say?
She had this profound realization immediately after saying yes. She wrote that she wanted to be asked. She wanted to know that he felt she was worthy of being his wife.
But she didn't actually want the sacrifices, right? The compromise, the day-in, day-out commitment that is required to make a traditional marriage work.
Exactly. She said her show was her priority. And they both knew it.
She basically said she liked having a boyfriend to come home to. Someone who wasn't demanding. She fulfilled the traditional societal role of a wife.
Right, so they redefined commitment on their own terms. Oprah later called it a spiritual partnership.
A spiritual partnership.
Yeah. It's an agreement where both people are in the relationship to grow into who they are meant to be, as individuals first and as a couple second.
And Stedman validated this, didn't he, in a 2019 interview on Ellen?
He did. He directly addressed the whole narrative about whether he's intimidated by her.
Because everyone always assumes he must be.
Right. And he said, and this is a direct quote from the sources, when you have a good partner that's able to self-actualize their potential, and you're able to self-actualize yours, 1 and 1 equals about 6.
1 and 1 equals about 6. That is such a powerful quote.
That math implies exponential growth through mutual support rather than, addition through compromise.
Okay, but let me push back on this for a second, or at least challenge the premise.
Go for it.
Is it actually possible for someone with singular world-changing ambition, like an Oprah, or anyone building an empire for that matter, to maintain a traditional marriage? Or is the traditional model inherently at odds with that level of greatness?
That is the million-dollar question.
Because it sounds like she looked at the institution of marriage. She looked at her 17-hour workdays and said, these two things cannot coexist in my life.
Well, the traditional model, historically and socially, often comes with a lot of unspoken contracts.
Like what?
Contracts about time, domestic labor, emotional availability, and especially for women.
Right.
What is so powerful about this and why it matters to you listening right now is that this is a masterclass in defining success on your own terms. We are handed a default script by society, right? You meet, you date, you marry.
Yep, that's the script.
Oprah and Stedman read the script, realized the third act didn't serve their goals, and they simply wrote a different ending.
But opting out of a societal norm like marriage, when you are the most famous woman on television, comes with a very heavy tax.
Oh, absolutely.
Refusing to conform to the standard script accidentally created a massive target on their backs for intense public scrutiny. And that is not even the wildest part. Later in the episode, we'll talk about the shocking business twist nobody saw coming.
Yeah, the tabloids could not accept a non-traditional arrangement, so they tried to invent traditional scandals just to fill the void.
So going underground was essentially a deliberate survival tactic for them.
It had to be.
Before this recent Chicago reunion, it had been 7 years since their last official outing.
7 years.
7 years. Since the Tyler Perry Studios Gala back in 2019, Oprah realized, and she said this on a podcast with Gwyneth Paltrow, every time there's a new photograph, there's a new story.
Right. The visual evidence just becomes a blank canvas for the tabloids to project whatever narrative sells papers that week.
And because they were so intensely private, that void of information just fueled decades of wild rumors.
Yeah.
The most persistent one, of course, being that Oprah and her best friend, Gayle King, were secretly gay.
A rumor that persisted for decades, simply because two women were incredibly close and one of them wasn't married to her male partner.
Which is insane. Gayle King actually just talked about this on the Call Her Daddy podcast.
Oh, she did? What did she say?
She admitted that the rumor genuinely bothered her. She said post-divorce, it was actually making it hard for her to get a date on a Saturday night.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. because men were just assuming she was a lesbian based on the tabloids. She had to publicly say, if we were gay, we would tell you there's nothing wrong with it, but I prefer a man.
Wow. It really highlights how a boundary set in one area of your life, like protecting her romantic relationship with Stedman, can have these massive unintended shockwaves in other areas, like her friendships.
It's totally like trying to read an entire novel by looking through a keyhole.
That's a great analogy.
Right. The media takes one blurry image or one out-of-context expression from a red carpet, and they try to write an entire fictional chapter about these people's lives. It's exhausting. Honestly, no wonder they stayed home.
I would too. But when they did break their rule, the glimpses we got were incredibly endearing.
They really were. Like the 2018 Golden Globes where she won the Cecil B. DeMille Award, and he was just right there beaming in the audience.
Or, my personal favorite detail from the sources, during the pandemic lockdown.
Oh my gosh.
She had Stedman quarantined out in the guest house for safety.
As you do.
Right. And she was posting these videos of him doing puzzles and playfully calling him out for stealing a whole loaf of banana bread she'd baked.
I remember that.
It showed a domestic, completely normal reality that contrasted so hard with the high-drama tabloid narratives. It was just two people navigating lockdown, stealing baked goods.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Okay.
Because the public keyhole scrutiny didn't just apply to her romantic relationship.
No, it didn't.
For her entire 40-year career, her physical body has been a public spectacle. Her health journey has been dissected on magazine covers right next to those rumors about her and Gail.
And those two threads, her relationship and her health, intersect in a really profound way.
Let's talk about the Mike Tyson story, because there is this highly specific anecdote from the source material that just blew my mind.
Oh, this one is rough.
It really is. It's 1988. Oprah and Stedman are at a Mike Tyson boxing match. Tyson was the heavyweight champion of the world at the time, and at that match, he weighed 218 pounds.
Okay.
Oprah is sitting ringside next to this incredibly handsome man she had just started dating a couple of years prior. And she realized in that moment that she weighed 200 pounds.
Wow.
She was almost the exact same weight as the heavyweight champion of the world. She felt this deep, crushing shame.
She internalized the societal stigma perfectly, unfortunately.
Yeah.
She projected her own insecurity onto Stedman, assuming he must be embarrassed to be seen with her.
But Stedman didn't care.
He really did.
He never asked her to lose weight. As she later said, he loved her fat and thin. He supported her entirely.
Which is what a real partner does.
Exactly. But she was still fighting a biological and psychological battle completely on her own in front of millions of people.
Which shifts our focus to her recent revelations regarding GLP-1 weight loss medications, where she has completely changed her paradigm on health.
She even stepped down from the Weight Watchers board to be fully transparent about using these medical tools.
Right.
And she said something that I think is going to resonate with so many people listening. She said, obesity is a disease. It's not about willpower. It's about the brain.
Moving it from a moral failing of willpower to a neurological and biological reality is the defining shift here.
Let's talk about how these GLP-1 medications actually work.
Yeah.
Because it really explains her revelation.
Yeah, so GLP-1 is a hormone that your digestive system naturally produces when you eat. It travels to the brain and signals that your stomach is full.
It tells you to stop eating.
Exactly. But in many people struggling with obesity, this biological signaling system is blunted, or it just doesn't function the same way.
So the medication essentially mimics that hormone.
Right.
She said she took the medication and suddenly the food noise was just gone.
Just gone.
She realized that naturally thin people don't spend their entire day obsessing over food and resisting cravings. Their brains just naturally tell them when they are full. It was a biological discrepancy, not a character flaw.
She realized she had been playing a rigged game her entire life.
Wow.
She was fighting a brain chemistry issue with sheer discipline, which is entirely unsustainable.
It makes me think about it like wearing prescription glasses.
How so?
Well, you would never look at someone with poor vision who is, squinting to read a street sign and shame them for lacking the willpower to see clearly.
Right, that would be absurd.
You wouldn't tell them they just need to try harder to focus their eyes. You give them a tool, glasses, to correct a biological discrepancy in their eyesight. So why do we place a moral judgment on someone using a medical tool to correct a biological discrepancy in their brain chemistry and metabolism?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Oprah's journey with GLP-1 medications is just another example of her reclaiming her narrative.
Reclaiming her narrative, yes.
Just as she refused to conform to the traditional expectations of marriage, she is now refusing to conform to the shame-based expectations of diet culture.
And it's not like she's just taking a shot and sitting on the couch.
No, not at all. She combines this medication with rigorous exercise. She's hiking 3 to 5 miles a day. She's doing strength training, but she's doing it without the burden of shame.
This lifelong mastery of personal sovereignty, setting boundaries with the tabloids, setting boundaries in her romance, taking control of her physical health without apology. It all translates directly into corporate sovereignty.
It absolutely does.
It is the exact foundation of her enduring power as a businesswoman.
And you see that sovereignty operating at the highest levels in her current media moves.
Which brings us to the Amazon deal. Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our breakdown of this because it's massive.
The sources detail this sweeping multi-year agreement she just signed with Amazon and their Wondery podcast network.
It's a huge deal.
Huge. The Oprah podcast is expanding to twice a week. Wondery and Amazon are taking over the exclusive distribution and ad sales for Oprah's Book Club, Oprah's Favorite Things, and this is the crucial part.
What's that?
The licensing rights to the entire 25-season archive of The Oprah Winfrey Show.
All of it.
All of it is folding into the Amazon ecosystem.
Amazon, and really big tech in general, is pivoting incredibly hard into personality-driven, nostalgia-backed content right now.
They aren't just buying a podcast, though. They are buying legacy trust.
Explain that.
Well, Oprah spent 25 years in people's living rooms every single afternoon. That creates what psychologists call parasocial trust.
Parasocial trust.
Yeah, it's a deeply ingrained, one-sided psychological bond where the audience feels like they intimately know her, like she's a friend.
And Amazon is monetizing that bond.
Exactly. Amazon knows that level of parasocial trust cannot be manufactured from scratch today. The media landscape is too fractured, so they are leveraging it to connect her content directly to their commerce platforms.
The synergy is brilliant, honestly.
Yeah. Think about the mechanism here. When she recommends a book on the podcast, that audio seamlessly drives the listener to buy it on a Kindle.
Right.
When she lists her favorite things, the listener is already inside the Amazon retail ecosystem. They're just one click away from purchasing them. The content is essentially the top of the funnel for the commerce.
It is the ultimate synergy. But does a move like this signal that the era of the truly independent media empire is over?
That's a fair question.
Because Oprah built Harpo to own everything she did. She was famous for owning her masters, essentially. And now she's merging her crown jewels with one of the biggest tech conglomerates on Earth. Does every independent creator eventually have to merge with big tech just to survive in this current landscape?
This raises an important question about scale versus independence.
Right.
I don't think she's surrendering to big tech. She's renting their plumbing.
Renting their plumbing. Okay.
Oprah realized that the value isn't in owning the distribution pipes anymore. The landscape has changed entirely. The real value, the irreplaceable asset, is being the one indispensable source of water flowing through those pipes.
So she isn't giving up ownership of her content.
No, she's utilizing Amazon's unparalleled distribution infrastructure to amplify her mission globally. She's reaching more people.
So what does this all mean when we step back and look at this entire stack of sources? From a rare sighting holding a plate of fried chicken in Chicago to a multi-billion-dollar Amazon deal, we are really seeing a masterclass in radical authenticity.
We really are.
Oprah and Stedman's 40-year relationship proves that you don't need a marriage certificate to have a profound, enduring spiritual partnership.
Right.
Her approach to the tabloids shows that privacy is a choice you have to fiercely protect. Her honesty about her health and the GLP-1 medications dismantles decades of internalized shame.
And her business moves prove that true power lies in knowing when to evolve your empire.
It is all one cohesive lesson in refusing to be categorized.
The power of writing your own script rather than just reading the one society handed you.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on today. We always view these traditional milestones, getting married, being constantly visible to the public, stubbornly sticking to an independent business model as the ultimate markers of success.
That's what we're taught.
But looking at Oprah and Stedman stepping out into those camera flashes after 40 years, looking happier than ever, it really makes you wonder, could the ultimate key to a legendary life actually be the art of the conscious opt-out? What societal expectation are you clinging to right now that you could simply choose to step away from, and by doing so, multiply your own potential by 6?
That is something to think about.
You've been listening to StarScope Report. where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.